Speaking of New York, what were your thoughts about the Giants benching Russell Wilson?
They, my
Go
bad.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Uh, I don't think that they look. I think this was a plan all along. I think it was planned all along. Is Russell Wilson super bad? He ain't super bad. But the thing is, we saw this happen before. We've seen this happen before. We saw this with Kurt Warner and Eli Manning. They're trying to get the young man in order for him to see what he can do. See what they got in the form of that first pick, so they can, see why they traded up in order to get him. They're trying to see what he can do, and I don't blame him. Look, when you're getting all the yards that you can, and you throwing interceptions in critical games, that's something to be said. Like I said earlier, and I said this at the beginning of the season. This offense on paper is better than what we think it is. You got Tyrone Tracy, you got Cam Scatterbull, you got a number one receiver in the form of Malik Neighbors. You have good enough defense. You have three guys on that defensive side of the ball that are capable of being generational in the form of Abdul Carter, in the form of Dexter Lawrence, in the form of Brian Burns, and then you have Kayvon Thibodeau. Is a hell of a pass rusher within himself. You have cornerstones on the offense and the defensive side of the ball. Now you have to see what your future is in the form of Jackson Dart, and did you make the right decision? I think that this offense is better than what we think it is. I think with Cam Scatterbull and Tyrone Tracy, you could have a combination for years to come. And I thank God that we are back in a situation where the running back position is being put in high regard once again. We saw that as an example last year. But thanking my lucky stars, thanking God for that, because right now you have a two-back combination that can pretty much get you where you need to be. You have a Tyrone Tracy that is a runner, that power, speed. Then you have a Cam Scatterbull. He can come out there and play damn near every position in the backfield known to man.
Right.
He can come out there. He can run. He can catch. He can pass. He could, he could do a lot. He did a lot of good blocking. Scored a touchdown. Did the black flip and everything. So I feel pretty good about Jackson Dart. I want to see what they're able to do on the offensive side of the ball with him at the helm. That's not to say Russell Wilson is bad, or he's washed at this point. But the thing is, you knew it was going to come a time where, look, let's see what we got for the future. Had Russ won those first three games, you probably would see a different story. But now that you're seeing this, it's like, let's see what the young man can do before, we get too far behind, and see if we can trust him for years to come. Not just this year, but next year as well. And you never know, man. You just never know. But my bad for interrupting.
No, it's all good. Don't worry about it. No sweating. You always gonna be a part of the Sports PSP pod. I'm just checking out this Virginia up 46-38 against Florida State in overtime. So upset alert. So gotta wait and see on that. Yeah, 46-38 Virginia.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And Florida State, they were kicking ass the first couple of weeks. Remember what they did to Alabama in the season opener.
But they stole some.
But here's my thing, champ. It was going to be at some point in time they were going to put in Jackson Dart because they want to go with the young quarterback. Let's see what the young quarterback can do. If you look at the Giants' offense in the past 3 games with Russell Wilson, in team offense, I'm reading the stats right here from Pro Football Reference. In team offense, the New York Giants, they are ranked in team offense right now. I'm looking at it. See right here, 27th in team offense. They are top 10. They're 10th in passing offense. In rushing offense, they are 22nd. In scoring offense, however, they are, look right here, 24th. And in points per game, the New York Giants, they are averaging in terms of points per game just 17.3. So my thing is, champ, look, not to mention they've struggled in the red zone and they've also struggled on third and fourth down conversions.
Yes, indeed.
That's on Russ as well. And by the way, it's official. Virginia just beat Florida State 46-38. It took double OT. That's the
What
beauty of
the
that, but
what
champ,
the
that's
wow?
the beauty. That's the beauty of college football.
What the blank going on in Miami, bro? Wow.
Yeah. But my thing is, champ, look, and shout out to our guy Broad Sports, because he mentioned an interesting stat. You know who the Giants' next opponents that they have to deal with? Obviously, they have to deal with the Chargers this week. Then next week they got the Saints. Then on a short week, Thursday Night Football Prime, Amazon Prime against the Philadelphia Eagles. Then October 19th on the road to Denver to face the Denver Broncos. Then a week after that, they have to travel to Philadelphia to beat to play against the Eagles. And then after that, they got the Giants at home. So when you look at their schedule, these next 6 games, challenging. And why now with Jackson Dart? Why couldn't you put in Martin Luther King Winston, Jameis Winston? Now again, hey, I think they just did it, champ, because look, Brian Daboll's on the hot seat. And to make things worse for Brian Daboll, you look at the success Daniel Jones is having in Indianapolis. Is that not an indictment against Brian Daboll?
Yes, it is. And you know, New York hasn't had a coach since Tom Coughlin. Let's just keep it all the way above. They haven't had a coach since Tom Coughlin that brought that mixture of order and enthusiasm. And I hate to repeat and regurgitate the same information from last week, but that's just what that is. There's a lot of coaches that are good offensive coordinators, but are not great head coaches. And we just have to face the facts about that. Brian Daboll got that job because of what he was able to do with Josh Allen. Unfortunately, it didn't translate to Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones went to Shane Steichen. Now he's looking like what they call him, Indiana Jones at this point. So, I mean, there's a lot of coordinators that didn't amount to too much when you put them out front in order for them to be head coaches. Not every offensive coordinator that did a good job with a quarterback is going to do a great job. Hell, look at North Turner when he went to Washington. He did a great job with Troy Aikman. Everybody thought that he was going to translate that by doing that with Heath Schuler. Nope. So it's just because you're a good quarterback coach, good offensive coordinator, doesn't necessarily mean you're a great head coach. And with them New York Lights, and another thing I could attribute to Daniel Jones, guess what? That New York media is not on your behind as much as it was before. You don't have that scrutiny of it being, playoff or bust, or you just being in the paper every single day about something. Indiana's a small market. They're very humble and lovable fans up there. You don't have to worry about the scrutiny all the time. Plus, you're the underdog. Nobody expects anything from you. Nobody is expecting you to be the savior. You have great players around you. You have great head coaching. People are expecting you to be as good as you could be, but not be the savior. And I think that has something to do with his time in New York as well. But as far as Brian Daboll is concerned, yes, he's on the hot seat. Because not just because he's losing, is it just me, or is he losing the players? Remember the incident with Malik Neighbors, the incident with his offensive line, 4 straight penalties in a row.
14 penalties they gave up in that game against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. And then the lineman, he pulled the lineman from the game because of all of those penalties. The lineman walked up on him like he was going to fight him. Tried to shake Malik Neighbors' hand. He didn't even want to shake his hand. Has he lost that locker room?
Apparently so. because it doesn't seem like to me. And you look at it with the Daniel Jones situation with the Giants. That's on the Giants by not picking up his 5th-year option and paying him $40 million per year. And when you look at the Indianapolis Colts, they're right now leading atop of the AFC South Division. They're winning. They're succeeding. That's and again, when you look at how Daniel Jones is in ideal situations, that has to do with the organization. That has to do with coaching. That has to do with what's going on in Indy compared to New York, champ. And why now with Jackson Dart? Maybe they're just doing it because, again, they know they're on the hot seat. And if they have another lackluster season, then chances are they're going to be up out of here. And Brian Daboll, he's going to have to go back to being an offensive coordinator in the NFL, or maybe you have to go to college or something in order to improve his resume. Because right now at this juncture, it's not looking very good at all. So,
No, indeed not. And
but
like I
for
said,
Russ, and for Russ, there's reports whether he could, if he's going to be traded. Russ handled it like a consummate professional. You know, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna still support this team. I'm gonna do whatever I can to support this team. But hey, it is what it is. So, BRF, just to give you some context, we're just discussing the news about the New York Giants benching Russell Wilson in favor for Jackson Dart. What are your thoughts?
Um, it was a matter of time, and I think Russ that I that performance against Dallas really, I think it just really bought him. Like it bought him another week, but I mean that it was bound to happen because Jackson Dart really showed he showed a lot in the preseason, and he showed the potential. He showed a little bit of what he could do, and it was a matter of time. And and saying Russ's last performance against Kansas City, it was like it was bound to happen. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised the Giants are making this move now. I mean, it's kind of one of those situations where you invested a first round draft pick in Jackson Dart, so now you want to get a return on the investment. You want to see what he can bring to the table, and you kind of hope his athleticism, his arm talent. You hope it elevates the offense. It kind of allows that playbook to be open a little more, and you just want to see where it goes from week to week. I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at all. They're making a move now. Um, you do kind of hate it for Russ because it's not like he was really playing terrible ball. It's just when you invest, you have that type of investment on the bench. You kind of want to you want to see what you have in him. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised they're making a move now. And welcome to the NFL, Jackson Dart. We get to see what you do on a weekly basis, and hopefully you can kind of elevate this offense because it's like I've talked about it before. It'd be one thing if the New York Giants it'd be one thing if the New York Giants didn't have talent on the offensive side of the ball. But I mean the New York Giants have talent on the offensive side of the ball. They have Malik Neighbors. They have Wandale Robinson. I mean, Tyrone Tracy hurt his shoulder, but you got Cam Scatterboo back there. I mean, it's not like the Giants don't have offensive talent there. So hopefully Jackson Dart can kind of elevate it. They talk a lot about his arm talent. We saw the athleticism at Ole Miss, so we kind of we get to see how he can translate to the next level. And then shout out to him, wish him nothing but the best. And I hope he does well. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised they're making this move now. I'm not surprised at all they're making this move now. You want to get the return on the investment eventually. I mean, you have a first round pick on the bench. You got to see what he can do.
That's the truth.